Thank you for joining me today on Paint a Beautiful Picture. This topic just excites my soul. I want you to know that. I want you to teach your child the benefit of a rich inner life. I cannot tell you how many people I've asked this question in my lifetime. Tell me about your inner life. They kind of look at you and they'll say, do you mean what I think about? Or do you mean my spiritual life? Or I don't really know what you mean. Yeah, I get that. Do you know various classrooms full of students, both young people and adults, have been asked about this, and it's always the same response. Yeah, I'm not really sure what that is. So my challenge question is going to come early today, and that is, do you have an inner life? Because let me tell you, you do. You may not know what it is, and it may not be very rich or full, but you have one. Okay, so here, let me describe this to you. You run through the world, you have so much to take care of. You get up in the morning, you have to get dressed, you have to take care of yourself, you have to shave, you have to do your hair, you have to, you have to, if you're a woman, do your hair, do your makeup. Oh my land sakes, get dressed, figure out what you're gonna wear, get on your pantyhose, put on your shoes, put on your suit, tie your tie. I mean, great Scott, you're just on the run. You got to get the kids going. Man alive, that's plenty to do. If you're a stay-at-mom home, I don't even have to tell you that you barely breathe until about 8:30 at night, because literally from morning until night, you're running like a crazy person because you got so much to handle. And if you're a guy with a lot of responsibilities, you're in the exact same boat. So who even has time for an inner life? But you know what? Somewhere along the way, in those quiet moments of the day, something is happening inside of your mind. What is it? Let me tell you, for some people, not only do they not have a rich inner life, they have a sad and tragic inner life, because all they think about is, so and so said this about me, so and so said this, so and so did this, so and so really hurt me when they. And all they ever think about, all they ever focus on internally is horrible stuff. How could they have a rich, full inner life? But they have an inner life. They have things going on. I want you to learn to have a full inner life, and I want you to teach your child to have a rich inner life. How in the world does that happen? It happens by exposure to beauty. That's pretty basic. You go out into nature, and it's beautiful, and you sit next to a stream, and you watch the beavers as they're working on their dam, and you watch the birds as they flit from tree to tree, and you see the critters come down to the water and get a drink. This takes you being very quiet, and it takes some time, and it takes you getting a little meditative. And when your peace and nature's peace come together, the animals aren't threatened by you anymore, and they come and you get to see it. It's really amazing. And then later, you get to think about that and you get to meditate on that beauty, and it gives you a really rich inner life. So, beauty, not just that kind of beauty, the beauty of music. And we all know this because, man, we can hear a commercial for 30 seconds a couple days in a row, and that thing is in our head, in our head, in our head. Just think if you listen to beautiful music and the swelling strains of that music, and it stays inside of your mind, and you can contemplate on the beauty of that as it plays over and over again, and it gives you a rich inner life. It can happen through reading, through the development of ideas, and the consideration of the beauty of history and costuming in ancient times. Oh my word, I've really looked at some amazing, not just historical books about them, but original copies. Because when I lived in Fort Wayne, Indiana, I knew the librarian, and they had a most amazing historical part, and they also had access to them from the Indianapolis library. And I told the librarian how really interested I was. You're supposed to keep those books in the library, but you could look at them, and they would get some of those for me. And then over time, they even allowed me to take them home. So I've literally seen some couple of 100-year-old books with amazing illustrations about what they were doing and how costumes were created and developed. See, there are so many things you can do that will give yourself a rich inner life, that will contribute to the beauty and the wonder and the aesthetic quality of your own mind and your own spirit. You can write. This is a great one to do with kids. A lot of times by second or third grade, when a kid can write well enough to do this, a teacher will encourage a student to keep a journal for the year, and they'll write down what they did. And my desire, and I did it often with my children, was to get them to write down what they thought and how they felt and what their impressions of things were. And so they start to develop that sense of self-exploration. What appeals to me, what is distasteful to me, what ministers to me, what strengthens my own sense of myself, what makes me have a deeper appreciation for the world. Writing is a great tool of self exploration. My one son started writing poetry when he's about 11 or 12 years old, and he still writes poetry to this very day, and he writes it nearly every single day. He really learned to love that process of self exploration. Some kids aren't wild about words, so they're not going to do great with writing, but they might absolutely love to paint. And so, believe me, though it's an external thing, it really enriches the inner world of a human being to express their creativity and to put beauty out into the world. And then they feel great about that. And of course, the planning of that and the processing of that and the thoughts about color and design, all of that enriches a person's inner world. And so I want you to start to look at your own child and develop that deep, rich inner world for them, because it's awesome. It really is. We are so external in today's realm. Everything is out here and constantly battering us and demanding our attention. But you know what? Oftentimes it is not a rich life, it's not a beautiful life, and that can happen. And we need to foster that. We need to teach that to our child. We need to teach the value of that to our child, and then we need to teach them how to make that happen. Do you know, just thinking and meditating? Okay, so a kid who really loves video games, a kid who really loves comic books, great. Have him think up a storyline of his own. Even have him start drawing or writing the dialogue. Have him make his own graphic novel. Let a child explore through thinking and meditating. Nature is one of the greatest places on the planet to meditate. So buy a hammock, hang it up in the backyard. Get your kid a tree house. Let her, because actually, let me tell you, I spent a whole lot more time in the tree house at my house than anyone else did. In fact, I would sit up in a tree and read for hours. I loved having the birds up there next to the apple blossoms being noisy and jumping around and making a nest while I was reading. It was amazing. Build your son or daughter a tree house. Better yet, do it with them, alongside of them, because you know what, planning and developing and bringing something into fruition, even though that's external, that also enriches your inner life. It really gives you a sense of accomplishment and makes you have a strong sense of I can. Lots of kids have self-doubts. I can't do anything. I can't do anything right. Even if you've always been an encourager, some kids just have self-doubts. And you say to them, look what you did. That was amazing. Wow, I'm so proud of you. And now you get to enjoy the fruits of that. Believe me, that enriches their inner life. That makes them so much more confident, so much more likely to, approach the world with a I know I can do this attitude. And so you want to help teach your child the value of a rich inner life. I certainly would be remiss if I didn't discuss spiritual things here for a minute. Do you know that God is invisible? We can't see him. I know Jesus came to the earth with skin on, but he's gone back to be with his dad, so I don't get to see him. The Holy Spirit who lives with me, he's extremely real. We talk all the time. He lets me know things, but it's all internal. And so I've got to be able to be quiet and have some meditative, contemplative time to be with Him. And you know what? It's awesome. It really is. And it definitely makes my life far richer. And so I want to encourage you, if you don't have a rich inner life, to start to develop one. And then I really want you to teach your child. And this is a great thing to learn alongside of your child. Teach your child to have a rich inner life. It really is rewarding. And I would like to say to you, you know, when I was in Afghanistan, when I was in Africa, at a particular time when I was living in Mexico, I didn't have TV. I didn't even have a lot of books. I had my own mind and my own body, of course, my own work. But you know what? Because I've had a rich inner life and really fed myself and nourished myself in that way, it was a great time. I can really tell you that I enjoyed some of those alone times immensely. And and that was because I have fostered and developed my inner life. So I want you to have a rich inner life. I want you to teach the value of a rich inner life to your children. Thank you for joining me today on Paint a Beautiful Picture. You may find additional information on our paintabeautifulpicture.com website. Additionally, you may watch me on Rumble, and you may also listen to a podcast on Buzzsprout or Spreaker, all under the name Paint a Beautiful Picture. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. You may subscribe, and if you are interested in receiving notifications, please hit the notifications button.